I'm 28 and I have autism spectrum disorder and dyspraxia, which I'll live with for the rest of my life. I don't do these things to escape my condition, I do them because I enjoy them. Unfortunately, due to the coronavirus pandemic, I haven't been able to go out and do the things I enjoy. This has meant my confidence has been knocked, and that because I've been staying at home. Through my own research and what I have learned over the years, hobbies and interests play a big part in someone with autism. People with disability are more likely to have one or more hobbies or special interests that they keep for a long time. My special interests include going to Comic Cons and the West End for the experience and escapism. I also enjoy writing my own fantasy and science fiction stories, which I have done for many years. After I graduated from Glyndŵr, I had a rough idea of what I wanted to do as a career. I wanted to work in the TV industry, but it was a catch-22 situation. You need experience to get a job, and a job to get experience. I was really upset I couldn't go into my dream industry. I started at an apprenticeship in my local council in 2018. I really enjoyed it and learnt so much, and it really helped improve my confidence. Initially, when I first started, did you notice any differences between me and other members of the team in regards to the way I worked or what tasks I were better suited to?
I thought that you settled in quickly. You had a good rapport with myself and with other members of the team quite quickly. I suppose it probably helped with hindsight that the fact that we had you sat next to me, and then we had people like other colleagues sat nearby that you got on well with. And that seemed to work out well. But in terms of the work that you did, not really. No, I mean, as I've said to you at other times, I thought you were extremely enthusiastic and hardworking. You were particularly strong when you were given fairly detailed IT-related tasks to do. So, and as you know, we spent a lot of time working on SharePoint sites together, and you were a massive help to me by picking up a lot of the load on designing and setting up SharePoint sites for various projects, and that was work that required quite a lot of detail and a lot of persistence really as well, and you were very good at doing that without complaint, cheerfully, to a very good standard.
However, due to the events of 2020, my life took a direction I didn't think it would. At the time of filming this documentary, I've been studying my master's degree in television production. I moved back home in December because of the coronavirus pandemic, and I've applied for several graduate schemes. I've also got a work experience at a production company in August, and I'm hoping to graduate with at least a 2-1.
I just, when you're a famous film director, I'll go, I know that boy.
Most recently, I'd say probably, for me personally, when I noticed a turning point, and not just autism, but all disabilities being portrayed more in a positive light, is probably the 2012 Paralympics. I think that's when
Yes.
kind of world stage, and I know there were Paralympics before, but it was just something about the London ones that were just changed, especially with the launch of shows like The Last Leg. What would your advice be to any colleagues who are working in the education sector with pupils with autism?
Well, I think for one thing, you're absolutely right about, just to go back on one thing, the positive image. I think that's something that's definitely changed. It's changed because of the media intervention, but it's also changed because I think everybody realised that was going to be so necessary to promote the positivity of this situation, so that people who had got difficulties in any area realised that their difficulties could actually also have a very positive outcome, and that they'd got qualities that other people didn't have. And when you start realising that, it does definitely bring you up to that conclusion about it like that. Really, it's a great asset to a school. It's a strength to be built on, not to be hidden away.
So do you have any advice for parents of students with autism who might be concerned about their children in school?
Well, you could probably guess what my first piece of advice is. Please, please, please go into the school and discuss your concerns. The difference that teamwork makes, it made it to you, and it without any doubt. When sometimes that wasn't there, not with your parents, but certainly, I mean, your mother was amazing, but I won't pretend that it was there with every student we had. And you could certainly see the difference that made. Therefore, that is, if anything, the most important thing that, from a school's point of view, you can advise parents to do. Come in, be part of the team, be willing to listen and be willing to discuss and actually share strategies, because things that maybe are done at home, we can benefit from in school. And also to be part of meetings at times when we have outside agency meetings, so that instead of being shut off from it, they're there to be part of it. And I think if parents are willing to do that and to be part of it, it makes a very, very crucial difference. And I think certainly in your case, it's made a very big difference to how successful, how delightfully successful your life has been since.
Did you have a moment of realisation that either everything will be okay, or knew that I was going to be able to survive independently?
I think when you went to university, that's when it suddenly hit me that yes, you're going to be fine, because you managed well on your own, you coped. You had your struggles, but you still coped, and you did really, really well. Living on your own for anyone is hard, but living on your own with something like Asperger's is 10 times harder than anyone else. I think you're brilliant. What you've done, what you've achieved, compared to this solitary little lad all on his own that wouldn't play with anyone. You've gone out in the big wide world, you've got a degree, and hopefully get your masters. And you'll be flying. I'm really proud of you.
And as a mother, what's the best advice you could give to any parent whose child has Asperger's syndrome?
I would say, first of all, read as much as you can. You know your own child. If you've got any inclination that anything is wrong with your child, go to either a community paediatrician or your health visitor. But you've really got to read up about it, because you'll need to fight all the way. Because if you don't fight for your kids, nobody else will.
I think that pushing you out of your comfort zone, like you going to uni, I was like amazed, because it's I think to any adult it's quite scary to be in a new situation. I think that you could have probably enjoyed it more, but you know what, that's because like sometimes you think of uni and people like really socialising and really going out and doing things because you're away from home, but you're not a party animal, so it's not, and I'm not necessarily saying that uni is about that. I just feel like second time around that you've really come into your own. Big you are. You're still always, to me, be my little James.
Thank you very
Sorry
much.
if that's insulting.
Would you say that it'd be an important factor to always have that two-way communication with the parents as well?
I think the two-way interaction with parents is more essential than I can even begin to say. I think if that isn't there, then pupils are, at any stage in their education, are far more disadvantaged. That is essential, because it means that strategies are put into place, and the way we talk, the way we deliver things is a two-way traffic, and you will find the same strategies being used at home. Plus the fact it's not an easy dimension to have to deal with from the parent point of view. And I think knowing that they got support from us and we were working as a team was reassuring and gave them confidence. Therefore, the confidence feeds out into you as well.
What advice would you give to managers with employees who may be like similar to your position, line manager, someone with autism or Asperger's syndrome?
Well, I think all managers should have at least some level of awareness of Asperger's and autism, and just to be able to have honest conversations with their staff to make sure that their needs are being met and that they're happy with the environment that they're in and the work that they're being given, and just to understand that everybody works differently. Whether you have Asperger's or autism or not, everyone has their own way of working and their own way that they like to be treated, I think. And I think it's just important to recognise that people are all different, and you need to deal with people as you find them, and to try and make sure that you speak to them and have honest conversations with them, so that you can understand what they need you to be doing as a manager in the same way that, you know, they need to understand what the manager wants them to do as a member of staff.
Don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to seek out a community that accepts you and loves you for who you are, like as cheesy as that sounds. But it's something really simple that you just don't really think about, especially if you're like newly diagnosed. You're kind of, I'd say you kind of go through like the 5 stages of grief in a way, like when you get diagnosed with something new in general. Because I've seen a lot of people like in absolute denial about it, like they don't want to accept it, they don't want to even like think about it, and it's not a bad thing. It's really not. Like so many autistic people have like, you know, succeeded and just gone on to do amazing things, and it's really, really not a bad thing at all. But just don't be afraid to seek out help. Don't be afraid to think, you know, you are disabled enough, you do deserve help, and you do deserve, you know, a loving community that supports you no matter what.
And remember, no matter if you've got a disability, don't let it stop you from achieving your hopes and dreams, and go beyond your disability.